Hey everybody, welcome to Friday the 13th. How's everyone doing? Surviving?
So far.
Yeah, another week.
Yeah, another week in paradise. Friday the 13th. I don't think I even recognized it was going to be Friday the 13th until, like, I don't know, Wednesday of this week.
I didn't recognize it until like noon today. Like, oh yeah, like right in the date. It's like, oh yeah, right.
It used to be a thing, you know, anytime, Friday, you know, you'd know well ahead of time. I don't know, even when we were starting the podcast and stuff, I think we even did, you know, a couple times, I'm sure we talked about Friday the 13th, but now, you know, it doesn't even register.
Yeah, right. Doesn't even register.
Could you imagine though being afraid of any Friday the 13th that comes around? I mean, are there people out there that are?
You don't want to live on the 13th floor, do you?
Triskaidekaphobia, isn't that what it's called? Triskaidekaphobia, something like that.
Triskaidekaphobia is a fear of the number 13, and there's like a version of that that's Friday the 13th specifically.
Isn't it religious? Isn't it like Catholic based? Like, isn't it the 13th?
Cultural more than religious, but it could be religious.
I thought it was like Friday.
12 apostles plus Jesus equals 13.
And then Friday was the day that he was crucified. I don't know.
Or I don't know.
Well, you know, I mean, you know, there's all kinds of people, depending on where you are in the world, that you're afraid. There's always some unlucky number, bad number, something like 4 in Japan, right? Or parts of Asia, you can't have the number 4 for some reason. I don't even know why, but yeah,
they hate golf.
The internet says that Friday the 13th has its origins in Christianity because Jesus died on a Friday and there were 13 apostles at the Last Supper.
I wonder,
aren't there only 12 apostles plus him, right?
Massacre comes up too.
That sounds like a retrofit to me, right? It's like
it seems,
anachronistic.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound right. I bet, you know.
I agree. I mean, at this point, they haven't turned it into a holiday, right?
Yeah.
Well, for Bob,
there's no way to monetize it, and it's basically the name of a movie. That's essentially what it is.
It is a horror franchise.
That's how they
right.
monetize.
That is right. Friday the 13th. But you know, hey, good luck, bad luck. If you didn't have bad luck, you'd have no luck, right? Isn't that the old saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're having a weird fall here in Connecticut. Like, you know, typically in Connecticut, at this time of year, the leaves would have significantly changed. And it's not happening. It's
probably
a little bit,
slower
a little
than
bit,
normal.
but it's slower than normal.
I was up in Hartford, which is north of me by about, I don't know, like an hour drive or so, and it's a little more of the colors are up there than they are down in we're closer more to the coast of Connecticut. Yeah,
I don't see any color.
You got nothing. We have a little.
And that's for like mid-October. That is unusual.
That's unusual.
There's still a lot of leaves on the trees.
Yeah, it's like summer, but I didn't know what day it was.
You guys were in Maine recently, right?
Some trees have lost a little bit of their leaves, but like just looking out into the woods, it's a sea of green. Looks like summer.
Was it Maine very changey when you were up there, or no?
I was reading an article today. I might prep this for the show next week, where if you can map out the temperature like throughout the year for each successive year, right? And you could see the temperatures climbing each, it's like there's this random thing, but it's like going up and up and up and up and up over the last century. And then you get to this year and it's like it's like it goes off the charts. Yeah.
Whoa.
This year like departs from even the warming trend in the last 20 years. And then, it talks about the fact that this is by a climate scientist who was saying warming is accelerating. It's not just that it's continuing.
Yeah.
It is in fact accelerating. Although he said that's not 100% consensus on that, but only because climate scientists are reluctant to talk about short-term trends. Like they don't want to talk about the last 10 years because there hasn't been enough time to statistically know what it means yet. They want to focus on long-term trends. But if you look at the data from the last 10, 20 years, global warming is accelerating. Mm-hmm. And one of the primary reasons for it, he said, the point was, the good news here is that the warming that we're seeing now was completely predicted by the models. Like the warming we're seeing, like the models have been incredibly accurate.
Yeah.
And the acceleration of the warming is probably due to what factor? This is kind of an obscure thing, although we mentioned it on the show a couple of times.
Why the acceleration?
Yeah.
Reduction in fossil fuels.
CO2 is still increasing. It hasn't peaked and dropped yet, but the CO2, I'll just give you the hint, does not explain the acceleration.
Is it the ice? Is it the snow reflection?
It has to do with reflection, but it's not snow.
It's ice. Coal exhaust or something, right?
Cloud?
Yeah, it's the exhaust. It's the sulfites.
Sulfites
in the exhaust are reflective. And that has been partially offsetting the warming from CO2 and other greenhouse gases. And our basically improved standards on pollution. So we've reduced pollution more than we've reduced CO2. So we're reducing the particles that are reflecting light and compensating for some of the warming. So now we're seeing closer to the pure warming we would get from CO2 without the offset from
we can't
reflective pollution.
Well, yeah, right.
Like we can't make a good decision,
But I mean, it's definitely better than putting the particles in the air. But you said, but this is exactly what the models predicted. It's like we are right, exactly. Like we knew this was going to happen, and it's happening. The models were correct. That's the bottom line.
And what about if we talked about artificial means of increasing the reflection?
So this article didn't talk about that. I know we've brought it up, but I think we haven't done a deep dive on it. We haven't done like a big. But yeah, that's I don't know, putting shit in the air to reflect sunlight. I don't know about that.
I mean, we kind of already did it, didn't we?
Well, yeah, I mean, but we doing it deliberately. It's kind of a desperation maneuver.
Yeah.
We did a couple of volcano explosions.
Well, what about just water? Like when their ships blow some water up there? I don't know.
Water actually exacerbates warming.
We've said it before. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do right now.
Yeah.
Like we have actions to take that will be very significant. And also, we need to develop CO2 scrubbing technology and have factories that are just sucking CO2 out of the atmosphere. It's going to take trillions and trillions of dollars. that we have to start spending
and a
immediately.
universal effort.
Yeah.
Right?
So
It can't just be half the planet.
Yeah,
It has to be
imagine,
the whole
you know,
planet.
for the next 20 years, we need to pick the low-hanging fruit. I don't think we could continue to develop the carbon removal technology. We're just not there yet with that, with sequestering CO2. But we should continue to develop it. But we shouldn't be relying upon that. Like it shouldn't be, the plan shouldn't be burn all the fossil fuel and then remove all the CO2.
No.
The plan has got to be to, as quickly as possible, shut down fossil fuels. You know.
Yeah.
Stop the coal.
We talked about coal versus natural gas on the show recently. They're both bad. And again, the reason why coal isn't quite as bad as natural gas in some ways is because coal also releases the sulfides, you know, that reflect light, whereas natural gas has only like about 10% of that. But in terms of CO2 release, natural gas is better. But natural gas also really, you know, leaky. If it leaks from the system, releases methane, which is short-term bad, but not nearly as long-term. It's like pick your poison. They're both bad in different ways.
Yeah, I mean, we need to incentivize people getting geothermal when it's time to replace their house's boiler or, you know, whatever their heating mechanism is. And that's it, you know.
And new nuclear technology. We got to go nuclear.
Yeah, we need hydroelectric, nuclear, geothermal. We need the
forced hydro, right, Steve?
Yeah, the closed loop hydro for battery backup, for grid backup. We need as much solar and wind as we could take. We need to upgrade the grid. You know, and we need to electrify as many, like the transportation sector and you know, steel making, and we need to
concrete.
Low CO2 concrete. We need to do all of it. We need to do everything we can do.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, right. It's
well,
thousand different pieces of a large puzzle.
I still think like the one thing that should be in our crosshairs right now more than anything else is shutting down coal as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know. And unfortunately we had to report some bad news on that front recently.
Mm-hmm.
So
burned more coal in 2022 than any previous year.
Of course we did. Of course, globally we did. You know,
globally, yeah.
Governments are.
And it's because of China and Asia. I mean, there's no mystery there. It's because, you know, this is their plan to develop their economy is to build out their infrastructure as much as possible. But if we go for so the sort of more early developing nations, I guess China is like more of a late developing nation. If we go for like, you know, African countries and other, you know, developing countries, you know, we should be able to leapfrog over fossil fuels and go right to like renewable energy, you know. That's and the limiting factor there is absolutely money. You know, is that, you know, fossil fuels are often cheaper up front. They're more expensive long term, but if you don't have the money, it's like you don't have the option, you know.
Right.
So we need to really think globally about how we can facilitate developing nations, again, leapfrogging to renewable, so that we don't have to, because if they can't become the next China, you know what I mean? Otherwise, then we buy into another 20, 30, 40 years of increasing CO2 release, and we're effed no matter what we do.
Yeah, I mean, in one regard, we'd need to. I think all the major countries that are developing technologies that are going to mitigate this should really seriously consider just straight up sharing that technology.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I read recently,
that's not it, Jay. It's not that they don't have access to the technology. It's they don't have the funds to invest in the technology. That's it. It's money.
Yeah.
That's with the poor developing nations. It's 100% about the money.
Yeah,
that's all it is. It's not like the patents or anything. Nothing is keeping them from getting it. You know, if they had the cashola, you know, that's where, you know, whatever the monetary fund, the international bank, whatever. We need to make and it's not necessarily a matter of charity, you know, like just giving them the money, although that helps too. Even just guaranteeing the like affordable loans goes a long way.
Yeah.
You know, just making and even, you know, in developed nations, like even with like in the United States, one of the big pieces of the Inflation Reduction Act, it was just guaranteeing loans. You know, it's like if you're a utility company that wants to build a nuclear power plant, one of the hurdles is knowing that you're going to have the financing to see the project through. And if the federal government says, well, we guarantee you will get the financing. Like it's still, you have to still borrow the money and spend the money and build it. And it's, you know, it's all on you, but we'll just make sure that the finances aren't going to crap out, right? You're not going to get halfway through and then not be able to secure the loans to finish it. And that was enough. You reduce the risk for the private sector, and suddenly everyone wants to build, you know, these, you know, green energy. So it was, you know, kind of brilliant, you know, and it's working really well. It's working better than anybody anticipated. I know there's some people criticize, you know, the Biden administration for going for all carrots and no stick. And I know like the you know, at the you know, the politically what we would call the Greens, like the real like pro-environmental people, they want everything, right? They want carrots and sticks and bans and, you know, just and mandates, and, you know, they want to do everything. And I get it. I totally understand where they're coming from, but it's you know, it's one of those, the perfect being the enemy of the good, you know.
Right.
But yeah, it's not really politically feasible. Not in the U.S., not in the current political climate. And carrots work. It works really well. Take the win, you know.
Yeah.
Double down on the win. It's, you know what I mean.
That's just bullshit politics. You know, it's like,
yeah,
you know, anything to discredit the other side. So new generation of windmills are coming out that are
wind turbines.
Wind turbines that are 4 times bigger.
Windmills are for grinding grain and stuff like that. Wind turbine.
You need really big windmills, Steve. The grains are bigger now than they used to be. Yeah, so they're like 4 times. I think like the average size today is like the blade span is the size of a football field, and now
they're massive.
There's 4 times bigger now,
and they are more efficient.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the next big thing in wind is the massive wind turbines in floating offshore.
Floating offshore. Really? How are they going to do that?
They float them. It's you know, it's like an iceberg. You know, they just have to have enough below the water that's buoyant to hold it up, and then they anchor it like at 3 or 4 points, so that it won't topple over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing is, the wind is so much stronger out there than it is near shore. You know, like on the shallow, you know, so if you can go far enough out where the water's deeper, so you have to float them, and you put the massive ones out there, they generate, you know, a ton of energy because you know there's just more wind out there. Plus, it deals with the NIMBY eyesore issue. You know what I mean? Because they're so far offshore, nobody can complain about them.
I get that. What happens to the transmission distance, though? Does that impact?
We lay cables across the whole freaking Atlantic Ocean.
If you look at a map,
so there's no loss based on that.
It's not significant. You know, it's not significant. That's not a deal breaker.
Okay.
The extra power and efficient you get is orders of magnitude more than the loss.
All right.
Have to run a 20-mile cable. Issue. It's like 20. We're talking about miles. You know, we're not talking about going 1,000 miles. We're talking about putting like 20 miles offshore instead of 1 mile offshore.
Yeah.
Right. So we just have to make sure that they're not ecologically in the wrong place. Like there's no birds flying through there or whatever.
The whales,
but that's there's so much space. So that's a huge untapped potential that we really need to maximize. You know, the floating offshore massive wind turbines. So we'll get another whatever 10-20% or something of our electricity off of that over the next 20-30 years.
But what about the whales, Steve?
Yeah,
that's a legitimate question.
The windmills are driving them crazy, apparently.
Sounds good until Titanic too.
Well, I mean, when we've talked about how much human interference there is in whale communication and stuff, right? I know Kara's spoken about that before. It's insane. We've
destroyed their ability to communicate over long range.
It's what we've done to sea life on this planet is just disgusting.
That has
I was
nothing to do with wind turbines.
I was joking because Trump
It's legit though.
had a speech last week that said that the wind turbines on
It's always a
land
problem.
are driving whales crazy.
The ones on land?
And
Whales? I
So
thought it was
the
birds.
offshore wind is driving whales crazy.
yeah, you didn't hear that? He's
Why
oh my
would they
god,
try
he said,
whales?
so he says it. So
Was
then
he
I,
conflating two thoughts?
he is. What
Okay.
the legitimate article
Because he
is
would have to have a thought.
is
to
that
really
conflate it.
people
Have a
in
roadmap
Wales
to figure out what the hell he's talking about.
don't like the wind turbines.
That's
But,
bullshit. What they don't like is all the noisy ships that are
the
constantly moving
sonar,
everywhere.
yeah, right. The pings and the things that,
Yeah.
Just the
intership
engines. You know, so
communication,
if
the engines.
we need to have quieter ships, which we have. It's just a matter of regulations and whatnot. And also, I mean, I read about this years ago. Is that they have ship designs where they use sails, because again it's more wind power. You might as well, but you could also, they have these the sails that it's like a kite. Like they unravel it so that it's up in the wind stream.
Yeah, like a parasailing.
Yeah,
kind of
and that
mechanism.
could provide a tremendous amount of acceleration, even for
hell
large,
yeah.
heavy ships. And one, it's silent and it's free. Like you're not burning fuel.
All ships
it's
should
just
have that
nice.
hybrid ability to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, obviously you still need the engine. You can't.
You can't.
But the wind stream is
rely
more
on
predictable. Like you're not going to get a still day. And it's also more powerful. So that kind of technology would help out the whales much more than the friggin' wind turbines.
Wow, that's interesting. I mean, like they would just, so a cruise ship would actually put up a huge sail.
Yeah,
That's the idea. I mean, I wonder.
I like that idea.
That's interesting.
Seems reasonable to me. Why
Yeah.
not?
Well, hopefully we'll see some movement. Things are getting so obvious now.
Yeah.
We need this to become a discussion. It's got to become the political topic.
yeah.
Well,
I think we did turn this corner where we went from global warming is going to be a problem for the next generation to global warming is a problem now.
Yeah.
We are feeling it now. And it's partly because we're just getting beyond these thresholds where we're starting to see like real consequences, but it's also because of this acceleration that we're seeing in the last 20 years. And this year, 2023 is going to be almost certainly the warmest year on record. Number one.
I think that was one of your year beginning predictions.
Was it?
Steve?
And I nailed
Was
it. I think I made that prediction because of El Nino.
Yeah.
Right? Because you have the two cycles. You have the warming cycle, and then you have the El Nino cycle. And so now we're getting where they're both sort of peaking. It's like every 3 to 4 years we're going to get this. Then we'll have a couple years where it'll be a little bit below average. That's because of the La Nina, cycle. And then we'll hit a couple more record years. That's predictable. It's totally predictable.
Yeah.
And
The
that's why,
background trend is there.
and that's why the leaves have not turned in Connecticut yet.
We're going to see
It's-
1 billion people displaced by heat.
Mm-hmm.
An eighth of the world population is something bad's going to happen.
Like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. By the time things start to turn back down again.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, where do you put 1 billion people? I just think about that. Like it's unreal.
Yeah.
think about the refugee problem we're having now.
Yeah.
And multiply that by 10. Someone asked about Gen V. Have you guys seen that yet?
Gen V.
No, what is it?
It's a boys spinoff. The boys, it's in the boys universe. It's basically like
Wow, there's already spin-offs? Didn't that show just come out 2 years ago?
3 years ago, I think.
Oh my gosh.
It's good. It's the boys. It's the same universe. It's the same
Boys.
vibe. It's everything is the same. It's good. It's basically, like a super university. You know what I mean? Like it's kids
they're
in
doing one of
college
those.
at a
Oh
university
my
that
gosh.
yeah
Oh, that's kind of like that book. I
yeah
don't know did you read that book, Steve?
Yeah.
I read it.
Yeah.
Superpowered.
Monsters University. Yeah.
yeah.
Superpowered,
It's
yeah.
superpowered for the boys. Yeah, for VOT. It's good.
Oh, cool. I'll give it a
Oh,
look.
boy.
I'm enjoying it.
That's cool.
Hey, there's an eclipse tomorrow, right?
Yeah, an annular eclipse.
Yep. Annular eclipse.
So where can you see it?
You'll be able to see it anywhere from Oregon and in the United States, it'll be Oregon through Texas and sort of a diagonal line. So it'll hit Oregon, Nevada, Utah, New Mexico, Texas. Those will be the United States that are in the totality of the annular eclipse. Although I don't even know technically if you can be in totality because
there is no totality. Right?
Yeah, there really is no totality. It's just the peak blockage of the moon in front of the sun. But the moon is further away from the Earth at this point in its cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So it will not block out the sun entirely. There will still be a ring of sun around it. Cool, very cool in its own regards. What's going to happen in April of 24, where we're going to be in Texas, is going to be the full Monty, full-blown solar eclipse, in which that moon is going to block out that sun, and we are going to bask in those few minutes of awesomeness.
Yeah, even though I've been so utterly consumed by Nauticon, I have been, you see my emails, I have been doing, early prep work for that trip, trying to line everything up, So we have hotel and we have rental cars, but we don't have airline tickets yet, which I'm working on.
All right, we'll get that. We'll work on that.
So today is Visto Tutti's birthday.
Hey.
Oh, happy birthday.
Everybody that sends me who's that noisy, I track all of them. So that's how I
Visto
know.
is one of them.
Oh yes. At the top of the list.
And do we know which number birthday he's celebrating, or is that
An increased
privileged
one.
information?
I'll let him reveal
One
that
more
if he
than what it
wants
was
to in the chat.
previous. N+1.
Yeah, it's the conference has been, Ian and I are working on it every day. It's going really, really good. Like everything is all the details now. It's all the making our packing list. Making sure that we bring every single piece of equipment that we need and trying to organize like the day that we get there. We'll get there on Thursday, which is the day before the conference starts. And we all have a huge list of things that we all have to do.
Yeah, we don't have this enormous kind of support crew, as it were, kind of helping us. It's going to be us and a handful of, it'll be the 8 of us, the hosts, plus a handful of other people, and that's it. We're organizing, setting up, striking, doing
everything.
Really doing everything. Like you said, Jay. We got a lot to do collectively, and we have to be on the ball. It's going to be fantastic. I'm so looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I've been on the patron Discord, and I'm seeing conversations that people are having. Like, there's a group of people that are bringing board games.
Awesome.
And they'll find
Maybe
time
bring some
to peel away. Yeah, I mean, there will be. We do have good chunks of downtime. Which is deliberate because we want to give people time to be able to talk and hang out.
Well, yes, yes, there will be. It will have the casual feel to it, and there's structure, but it's not so structured. It's not entirely 100%. Still, I think of the material from what I've been seeing that we're preparing. We're still probably preparing more than then we'll wind up using perhaps or needing.
Oh yeah,
we always want to make sure that in case something unexpected happens, we have something, a filler or something else going on.
Absolutely. I mean, the worst case scenario always is you have an AV problem, right?
Oh gosh, ask George.
If
he had a parking problem.
No, oh gosh, Ian, this was before you even knew.
Oh, okay, never mind.
We could go into the history of TAM.
But we talked about that, like if we lose if we lose the microphones, we came up with a contingency of something that we could, we need to be able to give.
It's called yelling.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we need to be able to give Ian and Jason time to fix whatever the problem is. thought through that. I'm not that worried. I mean,
It's not that technically robust.
no, it's not that complicated.
DVZ is going to be the most technically robust. Everything else is
Yeah, that's
pretty...
you're right. That's probably going to be the
Except for
one
the
that
cooking
requires-
segment, that's maybe a little more hands-on, let's say.
Yeah, like I'm thinking
Hands-on.
of things like I got to think of things like food storage. Where do we store the food before we do it?
Mm-hmm.
Then cleanup. You know what I mean? Like we can't just walk it off the stage and leave it and sit there. Like I have to be able to. I got to talk to the hotel about all that stuff. I don't know how happy they're going to be, but whatever.
Oh, by the
Whatever.
way.
Whatever.
No,
I've been-
they'll be,
They'll be fine.
they'll treat us right. I think, Jay, from what you've been telling us, the interactions have been positive. And look, hey, a lot of people are coming to this event.
Yeah.
You know, this is
Pretty wild.
It's going to be extremely well attended. There'll be people spending money, good customers, good quality customers. Well, everyone's going to be really happy with how it all goes. So yeah, if you have to ask the hotel for something or out of the ordinary, they'll roll with it.
Actually, wait, doesn't that reminds me, something is expiring, or rather, you have to sign up before next Thursday for the Friday dinner. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the date is going to be
For people
the
who are going to
26th
Nauticon.
is the last. I'm going to shut the ability off to buy tickets for the dinner on the 26th
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I have to give the hotel the final number, and I got to,
Right.
So if you haven't signed up, you got to do that ASAP, please.
Yeah,
If
I'll
you-
send
if
it.
you
I'll
want
send an email out to all the ticket holders
Yeah.
so they know. But we got about 115 people going to the dinner.
Mm-hmm.
which
Ian,
be
will you
fun.
be there?
We'll see. Actually, I don't even know. We might be working. Well, it's Friday night, so we'll see.
I don't
Might be
think
okay.
that if there's a chance that I might not be able to go to the dinner because we got to
Yeah.
set up the final prep work for the game show before that.
Yeah.
I'll definitely go and make an appearance if at the very, very least. But my goal is that we do all this work on Thursday
Mm-hmm.
and we have nothing to worry about for Friday. Like Friday, while dinner is happening, we basically move the set pieces into position, turn everything on, go through one last test. That's it. Then we
And
should be
roll.
good to go.
Yeah.
But you know what happens, Ev? The gremlins, they wait for you to go to bed and they come in and they turn knobs and they fuck things up. So
Something I learned very early in my career in audiovisual and television production is that it's about minimizing the things that will go wrong, and there will always be something that goes wrong, but it's just trying to minimize them as best as possible.
yeah, of course. I mean,
Because there's 10,000 links in that chain. I mean,
I know.
come on,
Any
it's
one
crazy.
cable that's broken or not plugged in the right way, can cause a problem. But no, it's cool. I mean, like my wife is a producer and a production manager, and she works on like multi-million-dollar events, and they do everything. They do, and it's funny because like I'm talking to her about our events,
Mm-hmm.
and her shit is so orders of magnitude more complicated, and she just keeps looking at me. She's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
sounds really hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is not. Yeah, it's it's totally nothing. I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about anything. I'm worrying about things that are completely out of my control. Like, is there enough parking?
That going down, right? I mean, that's beyond our control.
Yeah.
Like, what if a
Absolutely,
hotel has a problem, right?
Yeah, or like, I don't know how many cars can fit in their parking garage. Like I'm sure that they would have said something to me. Like I have it on my list that I sent them of things that I want to make sure about, but I don't get all the answers.
That should be okay, though. I mean, I think they have to accommodate parking to the degree of the hotel rooms.
That's what you think, yeah.
Yeah, and I would guess there are rules about that. Is that they have to be able to accommodate capacity.
Yeah,
and we're not filling up the hotel, so
no, we're not.
I don't think you have to worry so much about that.
But I get a lot of emails from people that are going, like one guy wanted to know if he could park his bike there, and I'm like, I'll try. I'll see if I can get someone at the hotel.
What kind?
Bicycle
or
bike
motorcycle? Or
no, a bicycle. Like he's local, so he's just gonna ride his bike there,
Yeah, hell, bring it in.
Yeah,
Take it up to his room.
Well, that's what we told him. Like, don't do it. Bring the bike into the hotel and walk it up to your room. Yeah, like
Just
that's the
do
place to
that.
keep it.
Also, I don't trust
Oh,
white
man.
plane just drivers, so watch
Ian,
your-
how many
watch your biking, bro.
how many drones are you bringing?
all of them.
Ooh.
At least 4 circling drones of
Oh,
the
Ian,
that's
can
audience.
you
so
fly a
cool.
drone in the ballroom?
Hell yeah. You
I
can.
mean, you can legally, probably it's questionable. I mean, the hotel, would probably not like that. But of course, I have one that is like it surveys the rooms that it'll avoid obstacles. But
Well, Ian, can you please consider this.
what?
It would be awesome if we had a drone shot fly over the audience. and
Yes,
we could use
The
that.
yes.
ceiling is
yes,
not that high. I mean, we could do it with like a balloon. You know what I mean? Like a poor man's drone, where we just fly up a balloon and pull it over
Oh my
everybody.
gosh.
Well, but we don't have a balloon.
Oh, you're right.
You've
We
got
have a
your drones.
drone, but not a
Ian.
balloon.
All right, Ian, drone question. What frequency or bandwidth does the drone operate within?
That's a good question that I probably should know, given that I have my FAA, although I haven't renewed my 107.
In other words,
Part
would
two.
it interfere with other signals occurring inside the room, or is it on a
No.
bandwidth that's not going to
Oh, no,
interfere
it's
with,
separate.
with
No,
wireless
it's-
microphones or anything else?
I think it's like megahertz or so. I don't know what the
Oh, if it's-
actual
megahertz.
like
Well,
what's somebody in Discord will probably, if they're not
2 point-
posting pictures of birds.
2.4 gigahertz. Isn't that Bluetooth?
Yeah, that's gigahertz is Wi-Fi 2.4 and then 5
Yeah.
gigahertz. Also the birds won, everybody. So
The
shouts
birds?
out if you guys are on the Discord that
Oh.
it got us here. They do a little thing with the birds. That's all I can say. I can't say
Okay.
Yeah,
more.
it's a patron thing.
It's a patron. It's
Gotcha.
birds aren't
yes.
real. Also,
Hey,
I
can
saw that on the
Steve-
website
Can Steve
once.
hear us right now?
well, he's on a
took a
phone
phone
call.
call?
I shut his camera off just because I saw him.
So, but he
Yeah.
can't hear us if he wanted to.
Yeah, he's not sitting there. He walked out of the room. I can see him.
Right. Because even though we can't see him and the
I
audience
can see
can't
him.
see him,
You want to see
can
an empty
him.
room? Here you go.
Yeah. Show the empty room.
There he is.
All right, let's get a closer look at this room. I want to see
Because
what's going on.
Ian and Evan,
Yes.
there is a secret here that we
Nice.
could talk about. We haven't talked about. it in a while.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
The post extreme.
The post-
And yes. And
He's
Jay,
back.
what kind of bread you been baking?
Whoa,
lately?
wait
And,
a minute. Hold on. There's Steve.
Hey,
hey,
were you waiting to see when I was going to come back in?
Yeah, we were
Yeah,
talking
so
about you.
sorta.
No, that's
Steve,
fine.
we have a
Warren's
question
fine.
for you.
Yeah, what is it?
Neurologically, what is it like? Let's say you have a hobby and you like to do it. You like to play a video game. I like to bake bread, whatever. What makes us want to do it? Like, there's a buildup over time. Like, like right now, I haven't baked bread in a week, and I'm like, man, I really want it. Maybe I'll make some bread tomorrow. I'm like,
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
I mean, there are circuits in your brain that are reward and punishment centers, right? That make you feel good when you do things that are probably evolutionarily advantageous, and make you feel bad when you do things that are detrimental. That's basic. That goes all the way back to bacteria.
Okay.
That sort of reward punishment system is the fundamental core of our nervous system, right? That's like central nervous system evolved on that concept, right? You could argue that all of our sophistication is just a really elaborate system of reward and punishment to try to get us to do things that are evolutionarily advantageous.
So you develop a liking for something. Your brain knows that you get pleasure when you do it, so your brain's nudging you to go do it because it'll give you pleasure.
Yeah, it's not only that you feel good when you do it, there's also circuits that make you anticipate doing something, like you anticipate the good feeling you're going to get when you do it, and to engage in behavior that seeks it out. And of course, this all goes awry with addiction. That's sort of that same kind of thing, but pathologically so, And in fact, those are the things that when we say someone is exhibiting addictive behavior, that's what we're talking. We talk about those things. Do you anticipate the next time you're going to do the thing, right? Do you have behavior seeking out that thing that you're addicted to? Like we talk about drug-seeking behavior, for example. So it's all, but we all do that with just normal stuff. It's just a matter of degree. When it gets to the point where it starts to become more important than every other aspect of your life, You know what I mean? It's like, should I
Yeah,
take
yeah.
care of my kid or should I shoot up some heroin? I guess I'll shoot up some heroin, like Train Spotting, right? So that movie,
Oh, yeah.
if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes pathological. When it replaces everything else in your life. You know, it's not just a normal part of your life; it's a replacement for life. You know, it's a one way to look at it.
Sad.
You will do things you know are going to hurt you, but it doesn't matter.
It's horrible. It's horrible. We have a couple clients in our firm who are they've become compulsive gamblers. We know it because they show us their gambling receipts. It can be part of a tax return. And a couple, we have like 2 clients who fell in this category. They can't hold their jobs down anymore. These used to be reliable people who had steady jobs, but in the last like 3 or 4 years, and not because of COVID or anything, they have not been able. They've been moving from job to job to job. We see their savings accounts and their investment accounts.
Can you imagine tanking your life from something like that? It's so sad.
Oh my gosh, you destroy your entire family. I mean, and it's not just the person who's destroying themselves. The whole family unit, the circle of relations around them are all impacted by this stuff. It is destructive.
Yeah, it's very destructive. Absolutely. And the thing, it is like a brain hack because, like casinos, they will titrate the payback on like slot machines. Those are timed for maximal psychological reinforcement. Oof. That's how they know. That's how the payoff, right? The payoff is how often do we need to give these people positive feedback to keep them pulling just enough to keep them pulling that arm and to keep them sitting there, whatever. So
lose 10 times, win 9 times.
Psychological manipulation.
Yeah. Oh, it's so manipulative.
Yeah.
Oh, brutal.
Right.
Brutal. And they've got the money to put into getting that information.
It's predatory.
Taking advantage.
We touched upon this on the either on the show or during our TikTok live stream or something where, there's so many things like that in our environment. I think it was on the show because you're talking about addiction to food, Jay, right? Is that, like restaurants and fast food and food, the food industry is doing the same thing. They're manipulating packaging and food and the amount of like the calories and the taste and everything to maximally manipulate us. That's what it's for. It is to manipulate our behavior, to hack into, our primeval brain, push our buttons and get us to buy their product, and it happens pretty much in every way you could imagine, just in, with different kinds of products. Like using sex to sell, in commercials is the same thing. Whatever. We're constantly being manipulated.
Mm-hmm. My gosh.
They've gotten really good at it. They've gotten super good at it.
Yeah. And of course it proportionally affects more people who can least afford these kinds of issues, of course. Someone brought up the lotto in the chat, right?
Lotto. It's a tax on poverty, basically.
Yep.
That's functionally what it turns into. Not that more wealthy people don't buy it, but it is disproportionately that money comes from. So it's a regressive tax, right?
Yep.
Like the state uses the lotto proceeds to pay for school. It's a regressive tax. They're collecting more money disproportionately from poor people because they see it more as a ticket out of poverty.
Right. You give them, you're waving the dangly, the shiny object in front of them, and they can't resist but going for it.
And of course, for 99.999% of people, if let's say you spend $10 a week on lottery tickets, you put that money in the bank every week, you're better off.
Yeah, you are way better off.
You are way better off.
Treasury 5%.
May not seem like a lot, but you will end. It's like how to get rich slow.
That's right. Yep. Save early, and oh my gosh, if you just
I had to have
money away early in life
with my kids. Jay, you have to have, when your kids get to the point where they
start earning income
with money. Yeah. Because as soon as my older daughter got a job, I'm like, all right, I opened up an investment account for her. I gave her the seed money to get it going. And I'm like, you should be putting 20% of your income into savings.
Mm-hmm.
Some before tax, some post tax.
Yep.
Like you have your 401k, but you should also have a mutual fund that's post tax that you can get access to. and you should just design your life around 20% goes into that.
Yeah.
And
put a little into a Roth IRA too.
Yeah,
those
Roth
things are
IRAs are great.
beautiful when you're so young. So beautiful.
Yeah.
Those are the best things you can do. Oh my gosh.
But you gotta start as young
discipline.
as you can. Yeah.
Yeah,
discipline.
it comes down to discipline. And
But you do it like you set it and forget it. You know what I mean? Like as
Right.
soon as I had that option at work 30 years ago, or 25 years ago now, I maxed out my contributions to my retirement account. It's TIA, CREF in academia. It's like a 401k, but it's like a different version of it. And plus you get the matching from your company, like whatever they matched, that's what I maximized to.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that now for my whole career, and it adds up.
Yeah, some of the
And
feedback
just
here.
don't even look at it. Like it's you always want to like go in there and look at it, but
Yeah.
you're better off just like it's at this age. It's the set it and forget it kind of thing.
Power of compounding.
Yeah.
You want to get you want the investments that your money is going towards to be index funds, and you want a robo advisor. Don't fall for you can get the premium and you'll have like a financial advisor and all that. Nobody beats the computer.
Yeah, well, we should say we are not in a position to give anybody financial advice.
No,
right? We are not
with your
professionals.
experts.
We are not
Yep.
giving anybody financial advice. But I know what you're saying, Jay. I'll just tell you what I do, and you take it for what it's worth. Is I get I have I think like 3 to 5 different mutual funds, like index funds, but you want to hedge your bets a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's not hard to put together like a group of mutual funds that are basically going to track with the market, but you don't want one that mine are not managed, because if you get it managed, they just basically suck away 1%, and they really don't do better than just the index.
No,
fund.
they don't. They don't.
So I don't know. It's because it is one of our skeptical friends who's in finances, we worked for big companies and whatnot. The way he put it, which I thought was really interesting, is like the market is very efficient at destroying information, right? Like as soon as you have information that might help you do better than the market, that information is immediately be destroyed by people using that information to invest in the market, right? It's very efficient. In fact, the whole system is designed so that having the quickest access to information is actually valuable, and like to the point where like companies would be as close to the stock exchange as they can, so that like literally the microseconds of time it takes for the computer to communicate to their computer is minimized. But that's why insider trading is illegal, right? Because you're basically using information that hasn't been destroyed by being public information yet. It's why it's so powerful, insider trading.
It's happening every day,
right?
Of course it is.
But it's so it should be the case that you can't beat the market, because how could you possibly do that if you weren't cheating, right?
Exactly. I've got another important question for you guys.
Yeah.
I haven't bought a video game in a long time, and I'm looking at 2 games right now, and I don't know which one to get.
Zelda.
Hogwarts Legacy or Baldur's Gate 3?
So Rach has been playing Hogwarts Legacy and loves it. She's not been playing Baldur's Gate, but we have other friends who have been playing Baldur's Gate, right?
Yeah, I downloaded Baldur's Gate. I just checked it out really quickly. I haven't really played it yet. My daughter's playing it with her group of friends, and they love it. They absolutely love it. So a very positive review from them. I've heard mixed things about Hogwarts. Of course, there's the whole controversy about the anti-Semitic gnomes or whatever. But whatever. There's a
Baldur's Gate 3 is the best.
But Baldur's Gate 3 is, I think,
four-person parties. Is that right on Baldur's Gate?
4-person party. That's it. Maximum of 4 people.
Well, without mods, you can get like 16 people with mods.
Oh, with mods. Okay,
it's crazy.
All right, looks like everyone, the vast majority of people are saying Baldur's Gate, so I guess that's going to be
It's really good.
The only problem
with download it, and I'll play with you and our other friends.
Yeah, that's the problem is I can't play it whenever I want. I have to.
Yeah, we'll schedule a time like 1 hour a week or something.
Right after AQ6.
Right.
Baldur's Gate 3. Okay, then I'll be getting that as soon as I can. Now that
you can do
tax,
BG3 solo as well.
Now that tax season is over, I can
There you
actually
go.
play a game and do.
You guys should
something.
stream that. I mean, that might be funny. I mean, it is
Oh,
D&D.
yeah, we
It's
could-
literally D&D. So
Yeah, it's
you
D&D.
can
Yeah,
be
Baldur's Gate is a D&D and
pretty.
world.
So who will our fourth be?
Bob?
Nah, Bob's not into it.
Nah.
You can
Too
forget
much
about
of a
Bob
dork?
when it's this
Nah.
time in October. Don't even bring up his name.
And it's not-
I'll
you
never
know,
talk about
gaming's-
him again.
I don't know. You guys know him better, but gaming doesn't seem to be his real jam, right? He never really got into
The
it.
only one he got into was City of Heroes.
Yeah, he did get into.
Yeah,
City
he
Heroes.
did. Yes, he played that a lot.
Well,
with
here,
us.
I mean, this maybe you can romance the characters in Baldur's Gate, so maybe we can get Bob to come back.
Yeah,
Bob.
don't get me started.
Don't get
I
him
wonder,
Sorry, addictive personality.
is anyone ever going to put out an updated version of City of Heroes?
Probably
I don't think so.
not.
I don't think MMOs
so.
are. They're not in vogue. You know, like maybe if they get back in vogue or.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
the
was
old
still
version
the
you can
best
still play.
MMO of all the MMOs I played.
Yeah, and you can play it. I mean, it is
Yeah.
still available, but it's it's 20 years old, so it's
Yeah.
limited in the graphics.
It's
and-
very
Still
limited.
fun.
Very
Still
limited.
fun.
Still, yeah, the game works. It just was designed very well.
But a modern, like really tricked out version of it, like with modern, graphics and everything, would be so
I
awesome.
know,
That
but
would
you-
that might be the only thing that would get me back into MMOs.
I
Yeah.
gotcha. I think the company does the company even exist that owns that intellectual
No,
property?
the company doesn't
think so,
exist. It's
yeah.
now public domain, basically.
Well, their NCSoft like technically owns the code.
Mhm.
The code got leaked from one of the people that was on the American development team,
Right.
and then I think we talked about this a long
Yeah,
time
they
ago.
decided not to pursue it or have it shut down. They just said whatever. Go
They shut
play.
it down because of an internal power struggle inside NCSoft.
Right.
It
Yeah.
was-
when
it was
originally
more of
went
an
off,
FU to somebody that worked there.
2015 or something. Yeah.
And then what happened was there was a secret enclave that was playing City
On
of
a
Heroes
server.
all those years. They had a secret private server, and then that got revealed to the public.
And then the genie was out of the bottle.
The genie was out of the bottle, and then they realized that they had to go public with it, and they did. And now there's a ton of servers out there. Now there's another game I got to talk to you guys about.
All right.
Yeah.
Dungeon Full Dive. Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't.
All right.
What type
so
of game?
you could play it on a regular PC or you can play it in VR.
Ooh.
And it's a platform that allows the game master to create all the environments that the party would go through to make a custom dungeon, right? Like so,
Mhm.
and the graphics aren't mind blowing. They're fine. They're fine.
What's it
it's
called?
called Dungeon Full Dive. It's going to come out on October 23rd.
Oh, so it's not out yet.
I think you could download the beta right now. So the whole point, though, is that it's based on running a live D&D game over the internet where you're in VR.
Well,
Like the first thing, this is like really the first time that this has actually happened, right? This
Yeah.
is it. This is the real deal. Like
Does it
they
have
had-
to be VR? Can you have mixed desktop and VR?
PC or VR or VR. Oh,
Either
mix.
way.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
well,
guess
you can see it either way, whatever you prefer. But it has like you could see your character sheet in the VR. Like your character will hold up a piece of paper, and you can see your character sheet if you want to look at it. And of course, you could roll dice. I guess you could roll dice in the real world or roll them, through the system. But as this game develops, the graphics are going to get better. People are going to make mods that are going. You can just download modules. You know what I mean? It's going to become a big. I predict that this is going to become a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm watching some video footage of it now. It's interesting.
What's it called again? I couldn't find it.
Dungeon Full Dive.
Full dive.
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 Dungeon Full.
Dive.
So I'm pretty psyched about it. I think it's going to be cool. I definitely are going to do it with my role playing friends.
So you're going back and forth from like a tabletop environment to an immersive, you put yourself into the game environment?
So if you're wearing the VR headset, the GM has already created the environments that you're going to be in, right? So for example, like you could create an entire town that has taverns with working doors and everything, and you can create the ambiance and play music and everything. You have control over the environments, and you can build them. And they made it pretty easy. Like, if you want to build a forest with a path going through it, you could do that very quickly, just because they have, like, you just drop in tons of trees, and then you just carve out where you want the road to, and then you could change like the overall look. Like if it's daytime, it'll look like this. If it's nighttime, it'll look like this. You have control over the lighting settings and everything. I just think I think it's the beginning of playing games with people collectively in VR, and like this is like a role-playing engine. It's a platform.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. Right now I'm using Roll20, which is like the 2D version of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of I think advantages to that. Like it works really well. It definitely makes combat go really super fast. Again, you could like download maps that other people have made.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a great platform.
Yeah, it's a good platform.
I prefer to play in person, of course, but this dungeon full dive, though, it might really.
Okay, keep an eye on that.
Yeah, it might be a game changer.
That is interesting.
And it's on Steam.
So you're saying you're going to be purchasing a game soon, Jay? Is that what we're?
It's probably going to be Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah. All right.
But,
well,
I wanted to download something and play it tonight when my kids go to bed, but I guess I can't.
Oh, wow, tonight.
It's only 400,000 gigabytes, so if you're okay with that.
It's huge, huh?
It's ridiculous. Well, because like every interaction is like a fork. Like everything can basically go. So like the audio files alone, I feel like they must be the majority of these.
It runs off a laser disc. It skips, with like
That's
10
exactly
minute.
right.
remember
It's
that
reel
technology?
to
Oh my gosh.
digital reels.
Laser disc.
That's awesome.
So
well, you actually roll dice, like you roll virtual dice.
Right. There's a hand there
400
that picks up the dice and casts.
So, what is the real size of the game?
It's like, I don't know, 300 gigs, something, 100 and some odd gigs.
Let me see what I got on my
How
here.
big is?
Speaking of 300 gigs,
It's probably. I'm probably lying.
I have to
Let me see. It's 150. Never mind, I lied.
Ian, I got to talk to you about my
150. Talk to you about
big.
what?
Oh, I'm sorry. A tangent. Upgrading my computer. I don't know if I need an upgrade or not.
Okay, yeah. We get this.
We'll talk
Especially if you're
about
going to be running Baldur's Gate, you need
Well, that's the
A
thing.
little
Yeah.
bit.
I mean,
Get you up to like 256K
a
or
little
something.
snuff. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I got to leave at 6, guys, because I have
Well,
to
this is
feed
6.
my children. I have 2 children downstairs that did a remarkable job of not shouting tonight.
They get food.
You're gonna reward them with food.
I will
Yeah.
reward them with
Reward
hamburgers.
them by unchaining
Yeah.
them
Oh, right.
and taking.
I think
the
I
gag
will
out.
get them the hamburger. Just one last comment before I go.
All right.
Oh.
I take my kids out. I happen to live near one of the highest rated hamburger joints in Connecticut. I just luckily am 12 minutes away from this place, and it's
Yum.
great.
Was
It's
it
great.
Five Guys?
Well, Five Guys is really good. I really like Five Guys a lot too, but it's
Burger
called
King.
Lake Zor Burger,
King.
and they just do a really good job, right? But when my family buys dinner from this place, these are hamburgers and French fries. I will remind you, it costs $70.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what
What, are
the
you
fuck?
complaining?
Like seriously, what the fuck? $70. It is out of control. And on top of that, they have that annoying like tip thing in your face. Like you have this, if they're charging me $70 for 4 hamburgers and 4 fries, they can afford to pay their employees good. And right, have you got it?
Jay's like that. They spin the screen around and enter your tip here, right?
And I noticed today that there is a lot of places that are doing this ridiculous ask for a tip thing. There is no tip option. Like they don't give you the option to not
Oh
tip.
wow, is that right? I'm surprised.
It's out of
yeah, that
control.
seems
It's out of control.
crazy.
Tip culture is a whole thing. It took on
So
a
bad.
whole new life with COVID. That we could talk about that for a half hour easily. Just
Oh yeah, maybe we'll
Tip
do it next
culture.
week. We'll dip into like tip culture. It is
we'll
pretty
dip into the
fascinating.
tip. Yeah, I know. Everyone expects a tip for everything now, practically. I have
Well,
a jar
guys-
at my desk.
And if you'd like to give us a tip, you can hit the super
Yeah, that's
chat.
right. Speaking of which, like, subscribe, smash that button.
I was just joking.
He's
I was
all
on with Andrea today, and because we invited her to join us tonight, but she couldn't. She was going to a fundraiser, and then we got on to tipping. This just happened like 3 hours ago, and then I'm like, I need to. I wish I did something that allowed me to collect tips. You know what I mean? So then she's like, tie a bucket around your head. And you could just walk around in meet space and ask people for tips. You know what I mean? Just like in general, as you move around. So like we're just
That's
joking
called
around
begging,
about it.
Jay.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, panhandling. Where's my cup?
Yeah. But anyway, the whole thing. Yeah, I would love to have a deep discussion about the whole tipping thing.
Well, maybe on the next time we do this, we could talk about it. This is a good forum for that.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great topic. We'll do it. So next week, if we can make it next week, we will talk tips.
If we can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, do something nice for people that you love this week. Pick someone
Feed
that
them.
Yes.
Unchain them.
no, but do something to
them and
make
feed them.
to bring some joy to the people in your life. That's all I'm asking you to do this weekend. Do something nice. That's right. It's so easy. Like there is things that we could easily do. Like I know right now that wherever my wife is, if she comes home, when she gets home tomorrow, if I have folded all the laundry, she is going to be ecstatic. So that's it. I decided that I will do the thing I hate the most because I hate folding laundry. Almost the worst thing that could happen to me is me.
Oh, we'll
folding
talk
laundry.
about that next time.
Fold
like
it into
our least
what, though?
favorite chores. Yeah, that's a whole subject too.
Mhm.
But I'm going to do it because I want her to come home and see that and be like, you know.
She's not coming home until the laundry's folded.
Well, do you hate it more than she does? Because if you do it and she hates it more than you, then that is very much.
She doesn't like it, but she doesn't hate it. Like I hate it. Like my fingers hurt when I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Like I
Well,
get
if
angry.
you do it and you hate it, that's even more, that's
Yeah.
even more of a gift.
It is.
Well,
And
that's love.
she understands this and knows that when I'm folding laundry, like it's me telling her over and over again how much I love her. So
Yeah, you're entering that stage of the marriage where like that's the romantic thing you could do is the laundry.
Aw, right.
yeah, we have kids,
True.
man. I mean, it's hard.
That's right. Yeah. Reality.
Like my wife and I, we had a kid in our bed for like weeks, for one reason or another, and I'm like, I told him I don't get to be alone with you at all. Like there is when you're a parent, like you've got to carve out with a really sharp knife.
That's what
time.
babysitters are for.
Yeah,
Babysitter
true.
date night.
Yeah, but they're not cheap either.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. You gotta buy him a $70 hamburger.
Oh, speaking of babysitters, Steve, you and Josh owe me for my birthday.
Oh.
No, Steve and Josh bought
Oh,
me
no. He
a
walked into
dinner
that one.
in Arthur Avenue, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
And they also included, not only did they prepay for my dinner, but they said it's built-in babysitting that night.
Great. How soon can you get over to Jay's, Steve?
Well, I want my wife to be
Yeah,
there.
pull the trigger whenever you want.
I should just
You should go by yourself.
Patch that in. Look
I'll
for
go
an
twice
expiration
by
date on
myself.
there. Yeah. Oh, it expired. So.
All right, guys, have a great weekend.
Have a great
I'll talk
weekend.
to you soon,
Bye.
boys.
Okay.
Stay
Bye
skeptical.
bye. Stay skeptical. Yes, everything. Oh, how do I press this button? Hold on. Sorry.
Hit that button. Smash
Skeptic's Guide to the Universe is produced by SGU Productions, dedicated to promoting science and critical thinking. For more information, visit us at theskepticsguide.org. Send your questions to info@theskepticsguide.org. And if you would like to support the show and all the work that we do, go to patreon.com/skepticsguide and consider becoming a patron and becoming part of the SGU community. Our listeners and supporters are what make SGU possible.
Yeah, how's SpaceX going? Good. Yeah, Starlink too. Awesome. Yeah. We'll get together. We'll have dinner. Okay. Yeah, you're buying. Okay, bye. Oh,
Well,
I didn't see you there.
what are you, a Supreme Court justice, getting billionaires to pay for trips?
Yeah, he's actually
Sorry.
on his heels. He's he needs he needs a little help.
He
now
needs
and
a
again.
friend. Yeah, he needs a friend. You got
He
a
liked
friend?
my book. I don't know what to say.
It's
you know,
true.
it's kind of
It's true.
What do you do when that
Put
happens?
an
What do
emoji
you do?
there.
Evan is talking to Grimes.
Grimes. Whoop.
That's awesome.
Oops.
Zach. Grimes, wasn't that his
Yes.
wife, girlfriend,
Ex,
whatever?
yes.
Mother
Former.
of his child, one of his children, something like that. Oh boy, what a world.
What a world.
What a world. So, yeah, I'm here. I'm kind of tired. You know why I'm tired? Because I've been working a lot.
Oh, boy.
Very late nights. And this is like the first night in almost 2 weeks, roughly, where I haven't really had to work an evening. Getting ready for the second tax deadline. Yes, there are 2 tax deadlines. Everybody knows about April 15th. It's deeply programmed. But most people do not know that October 15th is the other tax deadline for filers, especially those who went on what? Extensions. Yes. And good
16th, right?
Well, yeah, 16th. The 15th or the next day that is not a weekend or federal holiday.
Right.
So it can range anywhere from 15 to 18. I've seen it as late as 18, depending. And so many of my clients have these complex issues in which they have to go on extension for various reasons. So as soon as we basically got back from Dragon Con is when I got into kind of, all right, got to get all this stuff wrapped up now. And it took me about 6 weeks of really kind of grinding it out to get it done. So I'm just about done. I got a couple last things to do this weekend, but I didn't have to work late tonight, which is why I'm able to be here at the Friday live stream. And it's why I haven't been on a Friday live stream since when? Before Dragon Con? I don't remember.
I think so. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, so it's been a while. And,
Somebody's asking if you can flip your camera, or why don't you just flip your monitor around, and then you can see the titles in the correct orientation.
Oh,
they want to see the titles.
I'm
of your
sorry.
book.
Where's that feature in here?
It's
Camera
under the
settings,
gear, yeah, video. It should
auto
be
framing,
flipped.
enhanced lighting, adaptive filter, enable HD, show webcam properties. I don't think it's that one. Remove my chair. That's interesting. I'll fall to the ground. If I do
Plunk.
that. Refresh
look on the back of the
camera. Hang
You
on,
put a
I'm looking
mirror.
for it. I didn't realize. I thought I was coming out.
Strangely, you're the only one that it like pops up.
Yeah.
It should be under video, and it says mirror camera.
Where the hell is that? All right, hold on. I'll
Under
get this.
gear and video.
Because I've got 2. I've got my software for the actual camera, which is showing me correct, right, with things not reversed, and then there's the stream, which is reversing everything.
Oh, it's in the stream, not on
can
your
you
software.
do it, Ian?
No, I can't. But if you go into Restream and the gear on Restream, you could change it. Not in.
Let's see. Oh, I can change it on my end.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Video.
Remove the chair.
Hold
That's
on.
a Stooges bit. Are you guys ever in
Mirror
the Dragon
camera.
Con? Right
What's
there,
that?
you go.
Is that right?
That's right.
All right, Ian, you got to remind me now.
Yeah, I'll try to
do
remind you just so
that
people can.
from now.
You're like
on.
Bizarro Evan now.
Yeah, that makes sense. I know it's weird, reading things backwards. It's
Yeah.
you know,
It's a skill.
every time I see that ambulance going down the street, I'm like, why is ambulance written backwards?
Why is that? Eknablum, whatever.
Nice arrangement of some of my games, some of the more recent
Remove
games.
glasses option yet? Not yet.
Oh, remove glasses.
There is a funny eye tracker one where AI makes your eyes look at the camera.
Oh, that's bizarre.
It's pretty creepy actually because
that's gotta be
it breaks.
it's got to be Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, totally.
What other features are on here? Standard definition. Why?
Why? Yeah, no, we want high def.
Why aren't I in high definition?
Any new games? Any board games you can recommend that you've been reviewing?
Oh gosh,
As of late?
yeah. Hold
Too
on, let
many.
me get my list.
He's got a list, everybody.
Bear with me 1 second. I will tell you. We recently reviewed.
Other than everybody playing Baldur's Gate. 3,
Well, right, yeah. I mean,
but that's digital.
and they're
We'll go more analog with them gaming.
What did we play?
Mirror Universe.
Really, really good the other day. It was a game. I think, what was it called? Ra? Is that the game? Board game. It was excellent. Yes, Ra. Highly recommended. Ra, board game for 2 to 5 players, designed by Rainer Nizia, who's a bigwig in board game design. Which was excellent. Oh my gosh, it played so well. The components were fantastic. And you can download our podcast, Which Game First, a board game podcast. Go back about 5 or 6 episodes, and that's where we reviewed it. That will probably be getting my vote for Game of the Year as of this point. Now, we still have a couple months to go, but that game was super impressive and super fun to play. So I'll definitely recommend that to folks. And I'm sure when at Nauticon we'll be talking about board games. Obviously, there's going to be some people bringing their own board games. I'll bring a couple as well. Not that I'm going to have a tremendous amount of kind of free time to play, but I'll sneak away. I'll find some time. I'll find some time. I've been playing games with Jennifer, my wife, and Rachel, my daughter. We've gotten in the habit now of playing a board game kind of about once a week. One night of the week, and it's fun. They really weren't board game players until I said, "Hey, I got all these board games. Why not? Let's play." I don't just have to play with my co-hosts for the podcast. I play with you guys too. And they're like, "Okay, let's do it." And they're loving it. They are loving the games. This is a great game too. This one called Micro Macro Crime City, right here. This one, Micro Macro Crime City. Excellent. Party game, game of deduction. It's wonderful. And I'll also point out this one. Where else am I showcasing? Charterstone right here. It's a couple years old. It's a legacy game in which, that means you play the game once effectively, because as you reveal things, you wouldn't be able to go back and do it again because you'd have the same thing sort of revealed. So it's like more like a Gloomhaven kind of game. It's a long game. You play it out over the course of several weeks, weekends, and you could take up to like a year to play the game, and that was excellent as well. So there are some recommendations for you. Getting ready for Nauticon is my thing. I'm Ian, how much have we revealed everything we're doing at Nauticon, or is there anything we're keeping secret? I know there's some things that are secret, but
they're not so much secret. Pretty much everything has been revealed. I don't know if we've told everybody about like the things we're doing for like SGU University. But
University talk. University talk.
Not everybody has been, but there's a lot of things. Yeah, the schedule for the most part is complete. And we will put the actual timeline schedule on the website, and also, we'll be showing that on the screens when we do that at Nauticon. But for the most part, all the segments are outlined.
So I have begun preparations for my university talk, and basically what each of us are doing is we are each preparing. My understanding, it's 10 minutes in length.
Yeah, I believe 10.
A 10-minute presentation on something within each of our individual wheelhouses, an expertise on something. I could talk about taxes, but I don't want to send the audience screaming away into the night. I'd rather retain them. So I'm going to be doing something with board games for my university talk, 10 minutes. And there will be audience involvement and participation, I think, to a level in which perhaps the other university talks won't be able to even come close to reaching. So I'm designing a very interactive university talk. It's going to be like, I guess, kind of a TED talk, but involving the audience in a way. So I'm really looking forward to that. I've begun my development on that. And again, now that I'm done with my tax season stuff, I can go full effort into making that happen. I can't wait. I'll be sharing slides with you soon, Ian, about that stuff and going over some stuff with you, so you have the technical knowledge of what needs to happen. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, I'm going to let you get to your family and
thank you so much.
And,
supper,
all the good stuff.
It's supper time. Pizza's on a bagel.
Yeah. Thank you all. Appreciate it very much, as always, on behalf of the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe, and of course myself. Thank you for continuing to support everything that we do, including these Friday streams. A lot of fun.
That's right.
All right.
Well, hopefully we'll see you at Nauticon.
Yeah.
If not, next week.
See all of you there.
Post more birds in the Discord.
Is it birds versus monkey? Is that the whole thing?
I think it was bird. Wait, what was the Perry one? Was it monkey? Was it monkey versus bird? Was that what his whole thing was?
Oh yeah.
That was before my time. I've only recently listened to it.
I'll fill you in on the whole backstory.
Okay,
with
thank
that
you
as
so
well.
much.
It has legs, you know. It's
It has
still going
legs.
19 years later. So
They both have legs. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.